Processes of the Human Immune System by Caroline Hogan. The first topic is the external innate system. This system is outside of the body and is not specific to pathogens. The largest and most recognized component of the external innate system is skin. Skin presents a physical barrier to pathogens by forming a continuous seal to prevent the pathogens from entering the body. This barrier is composed of normal skin cells as well as Langerhans cells, which are more specific to immune defenses. Langerhans cells recognize the presence of pathogens and will produce antibacterial secretions. There is also the shedding of skin cells, which will remove pathogens stuck to them. A second component is tears. Tears are secreted by the lacrimal glands, which are depicted in the middle picture. Tears contain an enzyme called lysozyme that decomposes the cell wall of bacteria. Humans have the capability of blinking in order to clear the eye, removing old tears and any foreign bodies present, and allowing for the introduction of new tears. If blinking is not sufficient to remove an irritant, then a large amount of tears will be produced to sweep away the irritant through crying. Mucus is the third component. It is actually present internally and externally as it lines nasal passages, the lungs, and the stomach. Mucus is a sticky, thick substance that will physically trap pathogens. It is similar to tears in two ways. Firstly, it also contains the enzyme lysozyme, which again breaks down the cell wall of bacteria. Secondly, an excess of mucus will be produced to help in the trapping and expulsion when a foreign body is present, as during an illness. Similar to skin cells, mucous membrane cells will shed, carrying pathogens away with them. A second element of the immune system is the internal innate system. This system also is not specific to pathogens, but is present within the body. Part of the internal innate response is the complement system. This system acts in two steps, altering the exterior bacteria for easier detection and then destroying the pathogen. Two cells are responsible for destroying the pathogen: neutrophils and macrophages. Neutrophils consume pathogens and destroy them intracellularly. In the picture on the left, the neutrophils have been dyed purple and the top one is actively consuming a pathogen. Macrophages have the ability to destroy pathogens intracellularly as well as extracellularly. The picture on the right shows a macrophage dyed orange attracting E. coli cells which have been dyed green to destroy them internally and externally. Adaptive immunity is more specific than the previous two systems, having the ability to recognize and remember pathogens. Part of adaptive immunity are B cells. B cells have two fates. Firstly, they can become plasma cells that actively fight an infection. Plasma cells also produce antibodies that mark pathogens to allow other cells to destroy it. Antibodies are represented in the picture as the black Y-shaped pieces. On the two branches of the Y are receptors that are specific to pathogens. These receptors are used to bind to components on a pathogen's cell wall. Secondly, B cells can become memory cells, which are responsible for a quick immune response if the body is infected with the same pathogen again. T cells are also specific to pathogens, but do not fight pathogens directly. A T cell can serve three functions. Killer T cells attack infected cells, recognizing the presence of a pathogen within the cell from mutations on the cell membrane. Helper T cells activate B and killer T cells. Helper T cells receive signals from a macrophage that a pathogen is present and carries this signal to the B and killer T cells. Finally, there are suppressor or regulatory T cells that are responsible for ending their immune response. Natural defenses are helped with immunizations. There are two types of immunizations. The first type are active immunizations, and this type can then be further broken down into three categories. Live attenuated vaccines contain pathogens that have been chemically debilitated. Inactivated bacteria or virus vaccines contain pathogens that have been even more debilitated than live attenuated, sometimes just containing dead pathogens. Vaccines of incapacitated bacterial toxins do not contain any pathogen bodies, just the toxins they secrete. All active immunization types will cause an immune response and the creation of adaptive memory without causing a full infection in the body. The second type are passive immunizations. These vaccines do not expose the body to pathogens as they are used after the body was naturally infected. For these immunizations, another's antibodies are introduced to the infected person. This immunization only produces a short-term protection, however, as the infected person does not actually produce their own antibodies, and the introduced antibodies are used or decomposed, again leaving the person defenseless. Some diseases these are used for is hepatitis, rabies, and rubella.